I died choking on my own blood in a rain-slicked alley behind that godforsaken VFW hall. My sister's wedding band still warm in my pocket, like a mocking promise. Betrayed by the family I'd bled for, literally. In Fallujah and a dozen other hellholes, they'd framed me for embezzling the down payment on her dream house. The one I'd scraped together from my GI Bill after they called me ungrateful for enlisting instead of playing the perfect daughter. And now, gasping my last, I saw it all. Dad's smug grin as he pocketed the insurance payout. Mom's tears that were just for show. My sister Emily whispering to her new husband, "Allison's out of the picture, finally." But death wasn't the end. It was a reset button jammed by some cosmic joke, hurling me back into my 28-year-old body, heart pounding like I'd just PT'd through a sandstorm. Standing in the mirror of my shitty one-bedroom in Tacoma, Washington, 3 months before that wedding. The date on my phone, April 15th, 2025. My reflection stared back, faded buzz cut from basic, tattoo of the eagle globe anchor peeking from my tank top sleeve, eyes that had seen too much already. "Holy shit," I whispered, fingers trembling as I touched the scar on my jaw from an IED that should have killed me years ago. I was alive. I was me. And this time, they wouldn't get away with it. The first thing I did was puke. Not from the disorientation, though that hit like a frag grenade, but from the flood of memories crashing in. Emily's engagement party 6 months from now, where she'd accidentally spill red wine on my dress and laugh it off as sisterly clumsiness. Dad's lectures about how I was wasting my life in the Corps while she climbed the corporate ladder at his firm. Mom's passive sighs, always siding with the golden child. They'd turn my homecoming into a sideshow, parading me around like a trophy veteran until it suited them to bury me. The frame job? A forged email trail, making it look like I'd siphoned funds from Dad's real estate slush fund for Emily's McMansion in Bellevue. I discovered it too late, confronted them at the rehearsal dinner, and ended up drugged, dumped, and left for dead. Cops ruled it suicide. Poetic, right? The broken soldier who couldn't hack civilian life. I rinsed my mouth, splashed water on my face, and met my own gaze. Not this time, assholes. Revenge wasn't a word I threw around lightly. Marines don't do petty. But this was justice with a capital J. American style. Due process be damned if it meant dragging their skeletons into the light. I had 3 months to unravel their web, expose the rot, and make sure Emily's white dress fairy tale ended in handcuffs, not confetti. But first, I needed proof. And a plan that wouldn't land me back in Leavenworth for going vigilante. Tacoma's gray drizzle matched my mood as I stepped out of my apartment building, the Puget Sound fog rolling in like it was auditioning for a noir flick. I fired up my beat-up Ford F-150, same one I'd drive to the wedding in my first life, and headed to the nearest coffee joint, Black Bear Brews, where the barista knew me by name and didn't ask about the nightmares. Over a black Americano that could strip paint, I pulled out my laptop. Step 1. Dig into Dad's finances. He thought he was slick, routing money through shell LLCs for investments, but I'd learned enough from my logistics days to spot funny business. A quick VPN hopped to the dark web forums, old habits from Intel briefings, and I found a PI for hire who specialized in white-collar dirt. Cash up front. No questions. Allison Hayes, I typed into the contact form. I need eyes on Richard Hayes. Real estate broker. Bellevue. Embezzlement angle. Discreet. While I waited for the bite, I called my only ally from the old timeline, Jax, the groom. In my first go-round, he'd been the one bright spot, Emily's fiancé. a fellow jarhead I'd met at a USO event in Seattle. Tall, broad-shouldered Texan with a drawl that could charm snakes and a moral compass sharper than his K-bar. We'd bonded over bad MREs and worse deployments, but he'd chosen Emily because she was stateside normal, not a damaged goods vet like me. Or so he thought. At the wedding, when Dad had cornered me by the bar, slurring, "Look at you, Allison, still playing soldier while your sisters got it all figured out." Pathetic, Jax had overheard. He'd pivoted from the dance floor, snapped to attention like we were on the parade deck, and barked, "All American." Front and center. The room froze. Vets in the crowd saluted back. Civilians shifted uncomfortably. It was the last kind thing anyone did for me before the betrayal hit warp speed. In this life, I wasn't waiting for that Hail Mary. I texted him from the number I knew he'd have saved. "Jax Harlan? Allison Hayes. Remember that time in Kandahar you swore you'd owe me a beer for saving your ass from that goat herder's ambush? Collectin' early. Meet at Pier 7. Noon." His reply buzzed in under a minute. "Holy hell. Gunny Hayes? Thought you ghosted after that last drill weekend." On my way. Pier 7 was all rusted shipping containers and salty wind, the kind of spot where deals went down without witnesses. Jax pulled up in his civilian Hummer, looking every bit the Ranger poster boy in jeans and a faded 82nd Airborne tee. He hopped out, grinning that lopsided grin, and pulled me into a bear hug that cracked my ribs.
"Damn.
Girl, you look like you just crawled out of a foxhole." "What's the play?" We walked the pier, gulls screeching overhead like they were narrating my confession. I laid it out, minus the dying and reborning part. Because who the hell would buy that? Emily's family. They're toxic. Dad's cooking the books. And I think he's got your fiancé tangled in it. Wedding's gonna be a shit show if we don't head it off. Jax's jaw tightened, his easy charm evaporating like mist in the sun. Emily's been cagey about the house money. Said it was a family loan. "You thinkin' fraud?" I nodded, handing him a USB with preliminary docs I'd scraped from public records, liens on Dad's properties. Whispers of IRS audits dodged. "Worse. They're using me as the fall guy." Again. He stopped, staring out at the ferries cutting through the sound. "Why tell me now, before the wedding?" "Because, in the last life, you were the only one who saw me," I wanted to say. Instead, "because you're one of the good ones,
Jax.
and I owe you for not letting me drown in my own head after the sandbox." He clapped my shoulder, eyes hard. "Then we're in. But we do this clean, no cowboy shit. Evidence first, then lawyers. Emily. Shit. If she's involved." His voice cracked, and I saw the fracture lines. Love versus loyalty. The American dream versus its underbelly. That night, alone in my apartment with takeout lo mein and a six-pack of Rainier, the weight settled in. Rebirth sounded badass in those webtoons I'd binge-read during downtime. But this was real sweaty palms. The itch of suppressed rage. I'd killed for my country. Lost buddies to politics and bad intel. Come home to "thank you for your service" platitudes that rang hollow.
Now,
Facing my own blood as the enemy, it twisted something deep. Controversial decision number 1. I'd leaked the prelim docs to an anonymous tip line at the Seattle Times. Not all of it, just enough to spook Dad into mistakes. Watch him squirm on his own hook. The PI hit back 2 days later. "Your old man's dirtier than a chem lab in Mosul. Offshore accounts in the Caymans. Kickbacks from developers. Your sister's name's on a few wires, small stuff. But it ties her in. Attached files, screenshots of emails, Emily signing off on contingency reallocations that funneled cash from my trust fund, the one I'd set up post-discharge for my eventual civilian startup. She'd known. All along. My fists clenched around the phone until the plastic creaked. Good work, I replied. Double down on the wedding vendors. See if he's skimmed there too. Weeks blurred into a grind. Mornings at the VA clinic. Pretending normalcy while charming docs for psych evals that'd alibi my erratic behavior later. Afternoons sparring at a MMA gym in Lakewood. Channeling fury into hooks and takedowns. Evenings plotting with Jack's overburner apps. Him feeding me intel from Emily's side. She was clueless about us teaming up. Thought Jax was just bonding with her quirky vet sis. But cracks showed. Her text to me turned needy. Hey, Allie. Dad's being weird about the rehearsal. You coming?
Right?
Need my maid of honor. I replied with emojis and lies. Buying time. May hit like a heat wave. Unnatural for the Northwest. And with it, the first real test. Dad called. Voice all faux-folksy over the line. Allison.
Kiddo.
Emily's bridal showers this weekend. Your mom's baking that pie you like. Show up.
Huh?
Family first. The hypocrisy burned. Family first. Unless you were the black sheep with PTSD and a service record longer than their patients. I went. Of course. Dressed in civvies that hid my ink. Smiled through small talk with Emily's sorority bitches cooing over registry china. Mom hugged me tight. Whispering, we've missed you, her eyes darting to Dad like he held the strings. The shower was at their McMansion, ironic. Given the fraud funding it, in a backyard strung with fairy lights and mason jars of sweet tea. Emily, radiant in white linen,
Pulled me aside by the pool.
Allie, I know things have been tense. But this wedding, it's my fresh start. And yours too, if you let it. Her hand on my arm felt like ice. I forced a grin. Wouldn't miss it.
Eminência.
Front row. What she didn't know, Jax had slipped me a recording from her phone, left unlocked during one of their fights. Her voice. Sharp. Dad. If Allison sniffs around the accounts, we pin it on her drinking. Vets get a pass, tragic. Not criminal. My blood boiled. But I played cool. Toasting her with spiked punch while mentally filing it for the DA. That night. Controversial decision, too. I hacked Emily's email, not ethically. With a phishing link disguised as a wedding vendor invoice. Old core tricks die hard. Jackpot. Threads with Dad about neutralizing Allison's interference. They'd planned to spike my drink at the rehearsal. Stage a relapse, and have me committed pre-wedding.
Clean.
Deniable. I forwarded copies to Jax, who forwarded to a buddy at the FBI's white-collar division. Anonymously, he stressed. No trails back to us. June crept in. Wedding month. The air thick with lilacs and lies. Rehearsal dinner loomed. The VFW hall rented for that patriotic touch. Dad's idea. To trot out my service like a prop. I showed up early, helping set tables. The American flags drooping like they sensed the farce. Jax cornered me in the kitchen, sweat beading on his brow. Feds are interested. Need more meat, wires, witnesses. His eyes pleaded, save me from marrying into this. I nodded, but inside, doubt gnawed. Was I saving him? Or dragging him into my vendetta? Emily breezed and then, all glow and tulle.
Kissing his cheek.
Babe, Allie's been a rock. Hasn't she? He murmured agreement. but his grip on my elbow later said volumes. We're at the point of no return. The dinner unfolded like a bad sitcom. Dad's toasts sloshing with bourbon. Mom's forced laughter. Aunts quizzing me on when I'd settled down. I endured, nursing a soda, until Dad pulled his classic, cornering me by the dessert cart. Breath sour. Allison. Still chasing ghosts? Emily's got a real life now. You could learn from that. The room hummed, oblivious. In my first life, I'd snapped back, spilled the beans prematurely. This time, I leaned in, voice low.
Dad.
What if those ghosts came back to bite? His laugh barked out. Too loud. Empty threats from a husband. But Jax was watching. As Dad turned away, Jax stepped up, glass raised, not in toast, but salute. All American. Front and center. Heads turned, the old vets at the head table straightened, hands to brows. Emily's smile faltered. What the hell? Dad flushed beet red, muttering about damn showboating. The moment hung. Electric. Controversial as hell. Was I being honored? Or humiliated? Whispers rippled. Is she military? Looks the part. I held Jax's gaze, mouthing thanks, as the tension coiled tighter than a tripwire. The salute lingered like smoke after a firefight, shifting the room's gravity. Emily tugged Jax aside, her whisper hiss audible. What was that? She's embarrassing enough without your Marine bro code crap. He shrugged it off with a chuckle. But I caught the flicker. Regret? Resolve? Either way, it bought me time. Post-dinner, as the crowd thinned, I slipped into Dad's office at the hall, the door creaking like a bad omen. His laptop sat open. Password a joke. Emily's birthday. Files upon files of cooked spreadsheets. Donations to political PACs that looped back as bribes. One folder. Buried. Hayes Legacy Trust Contingency. My name. Redacted notes. Allison exposure risk. Mitigate via institutionalization. Sons of bitches. I snapped photos with my phone, heart hammering, and ghosted out just as footsteps echoed in the hall. Back home, insomnia gripped me like a rucksack full of bricks. Rebirth's gift was clarity, but it amplified the stakes. In the sandbox, betrayal meant a blue on blue. Here, it was slower poison, financial ruin, reputation torched, ending in that alley suicide. I'd gambled on controversial plays before, calling in drone strikes on shaky intel, leaving civilians in the gray zone. This felt worse. Personal. Was revenge worth fracturing what was left of us? Dawn broke with no answers. Just a text from the PI. Big fish. Your dad's meeting a Cayman rep tomorrow, Seattle docks. 0800. Photos attached. Grainy shots of Dad shaking hands with a slick suit. Emily's car parked 2 blocks away. She wasn't just complicit. She was steering. I looped in Jax at our next meet, a dive bar off I-5 where the jukebox played Springsteen on loop. This ends at the wedding, I said, sliding him the pics. We drop the hammer then, feds raid mid-ceremony if we time it. His beer paused mid-sip.
Jesus. Allie.
That's nuclear. Emily's innocent until... Innocent? Listen to this. I played the rehearsal recording, her voice slicing the air. Jax's face drained of color, fist clenching the bottleneck. That bitch. I thought. Shit. He slammed it down. Shards of glass and foam scattering. Do it. But if it goes south, you're the one explaining to the altar boys why the bride's in cuffs. Controversial decision 3. Arm myself. Not with my old M4, Too hot, but a concealed .38 from a pawn shop in Fife. Registered clean. For protection, I told the clerk. But we both knew better. America's Second Amendment fantasy. The armed citizen righting wrongs. In my head, it echoed the what-ifs of deployment. Coulda, shoulda. If only I'd had the drop. Jax disapproved when he saw the bulge under my jacket. Gunny, that's not you. We're better than their level. Their level got me killed, I shot back. This evens the odds. July 4th weekend amped the tension. Fireworks popping like incoming over Bellevue. Family barbecue at the house. Mandatory unity before the wedding. I rolled up in my truck, parking beside Emily's Tesla. The irony thick as grill smoke. Dad manned the Weber, flipping burgers with tongs like he owned the world. Allison, grab a beer. Loosen up. His eyes appraised me, still the loose end. Mom fussed with potato salad, avoiding my gaze. Emily, in cutoffs and future misses. Harlan Tank, linked arms with me by the cooler. Sis, you've been distant. Spill what's eating you. The old me would have crumbled. Confessed the hurt. Knew me? I mirrored her smile. Voice syrupy. Just wedding jitters.
Iminência.
Big day coming.
Hey.
Remember that trust fund I set aside? Dad mentioned reallocating it. Her blink was a tell, microsecond freeze.
What? No.
That's yours. Why? Just curious. Loose ends. You know. Dad called us over then. Plate heaped high. But the seed was planted. That night. Her frantic call. Allie. Dad says you're paranoid. Therapy helping. I hung up laughing. Dark and bitter. Paranoia was survival in my world. The PI's final drop came midweek. Full dossier. Time-stamped transfers proving Emily co-signed the fraud, using my identity for ghost loans. Twist. Mom knew too. Emails begging Dad to spare the girls, but folding when he threatened divorce. The whole rotten core. I forwarded to the Fed's tip line, anonymous as a ghost, with a note, wedding date, July 20th, St. Mary's Cathedral. Be there. Jax got the clean version. Minus Mom's part, he still held out hope for Emily's redemption. Naive. But honorable. American to the bone. Rehearsal day dawned muggy. The cathedral's spires piercing low clouds like accusations. I stood in the vestibule. Bridesmaid dress itching like wool in the desert, navy silk. Stars and stripes brooch pinned defiant. Emily flitted about, veil trailing, barking orders at florists. Allie, you're spacing out. Walk steady down the aisle. Okay? No war stories. Jax, in half-tucks, caught my eye from the altar. Nodding once, we're locked. Dad lurked in the pews, checking his Rolex, oblivious to the storm brewing. The run-through dragged, priest droning vows, groomsmen snickering. My turn to process. Arm looped with a cousin, steps measured on the runner strewn with petals. At the midpoint, Dad's voice cut through from the back. Pick it up, Allison. This ain't boot camp. Laughter rippled. Emily's included. Heat flushed my cheeks, not shame.
Rage.
In the first life, I'd powered through, tears blurring the stained glass. This time, I halted, pivoted slow. Actually, Dad, it is. Every step I take, earned it while you played Monopoly with other people's money. The room iced over. Mom gasped. Emily's alley was shrill. Jax tensed at the altar, hand twitching like he wanted to intervene. Dad rose, face purpling. Watch your mouth.
Girl.
You're embarrassing your sister. Controversial? Hell yes, airing dirty laundry in God's house. But it cracked the facade. Whispers swelled. What's she mean? Family drama? The priest cleared his throat, calling order. But the damage stuck. Post-rehearsal. In the parking lot. Emily cornered me by my truck. What the fuck was that? You're ruining everything. Tears streaked her mascara. But her eyes? Cold calculation.
Ink.
It's already ruined. The money. The lies. I'm done being the scapegoat. She laughed.
Ugly.
You think you can touch us? Dad's untouchable. And Jax? He'll see her crazy. Her phone buzzed then, unknown number. She glanced. Paled.
Pocketed it.
Feds circling? Or Dad's cleanup crew? I drove off with her glare burning my taillights. Adrenaline spiking. That night, Jax met me at a motel off the interstate. No traces. She knows something's up. Confronted me, said you're unstable. His voice broke. Allie, if this blows her up, it will. But she's the bomb. Not me. We planned the drop during vows. I'd signal the tip-off via a dummy call to the church line. Coded as catering emergency.
Fed swarm.
Arrests mid-dash I do. Poetic justice. Wedding eve. Insomnia again. I paced my apartment. .38 heavy in the nightstand drawer. Memories looped, the alley rain mixing with blood. Emily's last words in my ear. You were always jealous. Rebirth sharpened the edges. Every scar itched. Every doubt screamed. Was this revenge? Or just trading one grave for another? Dawn brought resolve. For the Allisons out there, chewed up and spit out by the system.
Yeah.
Worth it. July 20th. Game day. Cathedral parking lot jammed with Suburbans and priest sedans. Air humming with organ prelude. I suited up, dress, brooch, concealed carry, slipping in back with the bridal party. Emily preened in the antechamber. Mirror gazing. Oblivious to the storm. You look beautiful, I said, meaning it once. Venom now. She beamed. Thanks.
Sis.
Love you.
Lies.
Jax waited at the altar. Ramrod straight. Eyes finding mine across the nave. Steady. The processional swelled. Pachelbel's canon. Canned romance. Bridesmaids filed. Me last. Steps echoing like judgment. Pews packed. Aunts in pastel. Vets with canes. Dad beaming from front row, like king shit. I reached the altar. Took position. Heart syncopated with the strings. Emily entered then. On Dad's arm. Veil ethereal. Gasps rippling. Jax's smile for her was tight.
Forced.
Vows began, priest's baritone. Dearly beloved. Halfway through, in sickness and health, my burner buzzed silent in my clutch. Signal sent.
Outside.
Tires crunched. Black SUVs. No sirens.
Feds.
Emily faltered mid-dash. Emily, spotting shadows through the stained glass. What the? Dad bolted up. Bellowing. Security. Chaos erupted. Screams. Pews scraping. Guests shoving for exits. Agents in windbreakers flooded in. Badges flashing. Richard Hayes. Emily Harlan. Hands where we can see him. You're under arrest for fraud. Identity theft. Conspiracy. Pandemonium. Emily shrieked. veil snagging as cuffs clicked.
Allie.
You did this? You bitch. Dad lunged. Face twisted toward me. Jax?
No.
For the exit. Tackled mid-stride. Mom wailed from her seat, collapsing into Aunt's arms. Jax stood frozen. Ring half off. Eyes on Emily's hysterics. Baby. It's a mistake, but the agents read rights. Hauling them out like trash. I stayed put. Breath shallow. The .38 untouched. Controversial? The whole congregation gawking, America's underbelly exposed in holy light. Whispers. She set them up. Hero or monster? Jax turned to me then. Voice raw. It's over? I nodded. Throat tight. For them? Yeah. The cathedral emptied like a gutted fish. Echoes of sobs and sirens fading into Seattle's summer haze. I lingered in the nave, alone with the crucifix's judgmental stare. The scent of lilies turning cloying. Jax found me there. Tie askew. Jacket slung over his shoulder like a defeated flag.
Allie.
Fuck. He sank into a pew, head in hands. No words for the wreckage. Emily zip-tied in the back of a cruiser. Dad snarling at agents. Mom carted off in hysterics to the ER for shock. The wedding? Cancelled. Confetti trampled under tactical boots. I'd won. So why did victory taste like MRE dust? Cops swarmed post-raid. Statements mandatory. I played the concerned sister. I suspected for months, hired a PI after odd bank notices. Tipped the feds anonymously. They bought it. Mostly, my service record greased the wheels, painting me as the vigilant vet. But eyes lingered, the groomsman's bestie turning informant, whispers of grudge, of betrayal's boomerang. Controversial as a drone strike on a wedding party, necessary, messy, eternally debatable. Jax drove me home in silence, radio droning Mariner's highlights like normalcy's cruel joke. At my door, he paused. You saved me?
Gunny.
From what? Exactly? I met his gaze. Saw the fracture. Love's corpse cooling. From them. From you. News hit like a monsoon. Seattle Times splash. Bellevue broker and bride-to-be busted in $2 million fraud scheme. Photos. Dad's mugshot scowl. Emily's tear-streaked glare. Details dripped shell companies. Stolen vet benefits rerouted to her nest egg. My name surfaced peripherally. Tip from family member. A decorated Marine. Social media ignited. Hayes scandal trending. Armchair jurists dissecting. The sister who snitched. Some hailed me hero, finally. Someone with balls. Others vilified. Family annihilator. What kind of psycho? Rats out blood. Trolls dox my VA file. Dredging PTSD rumors. America at its finest. Cheers and pitchforks in equal measure. The fallout avalanche buried us. Mom checked into rehab, pills and guilt. Her calls pleading. How could you? Allison? We raised you better. Raised me to fold. You mean? I blocked her. Dad lawyered up from county lockup. Bail denied for flight risk. Emily? She flipped first. Plea deal trading Dad's head for leniency. Conspiracy light. 5 years probation. Her texts from jail. I hate you. You ruined my life. Jax delivered them, showing up unannounced with pizza and pity.
She's
broken. Blames you for everything. We ate on my couch. Boxes between us like barbed wire. She broke herself, I said. We all make choices. His visits became routine. Beers on the balcony, overlooking the sound's restless waves. He talked Kandahar ghosts. I shared alley echoes. Skirting the rebirth truth. Bond deepened, inevitable as riptide. One night, August full moon silvering the water. He kissed me.
Slow.
Searching. Tasting of regret and possibility. This feels right, he murmured. Wrong. Screamed the timeline in my first life. He'd buried me with honors. Emily at his side. But here, fresh canvas. Controversial decision 4. I let it happen. We tumbled inside. Clothes shedding like old skin. Bodies remembering war's rhythm. Urgent.
Alive.
After. Tangled in sheets. He traced my tattoos. Marry me, Allie. For real this time. Laughter bubbled. Shocked out of me. Gotta ask the right question first. Cowboy. But twists lurk in the tall grass. September brought the trial. Dad's circus in federal court. Bellevue's elite squirming in the gallery. I testified. Voice steady. Timelines. Docs. The trust fund gutted for Emily's vanity. Dad's lawyer painted me villain. Obsessed sibling. Fabricating for inheritance. Gasps when the recordings played. Emily's neutralized scheme. Cold as a .50 cal. Jury deliberated 2 hours. Guilty. 20 years. As marshals let him out, our eyes locked, his venom pure. You'll burn for this, girl. Mom testified for the defense. Crumbling under cross. I knew. But family. Perjury charge pending. Emily's sentencing was quieter. A plea hearing in a drab room smelling of stale coffee. She stood. No veil now. Orange jumpsuit swallowing her frame. Your Honor. My sister. She twisted it all. I was coerced. Judge's gavel cracked like thunder. 3 years. Restitution. Jax attended. But not with me. Still untangling. Post-hearing. She lunged at me in the hall. Nails raking before deputies yanked her. Monster. You killed us. Blood welled on my cheek. Warm as old scars. I wiped it. Unflinching. You killed me first.
Eminencia.
Rebirth's price surfaced then. Isolation. Friends ghosted. Fearing splash damage. VA wait time stretched. Nightmares doubled. Alley rain now mixed with courtroom echoes. Jax proposed properly on Veterans Day. Knee in the sand at Alki Beach. Ring simple. Platinum band etched with eagle. All American, he grinned. I said yes. But doubt nod. Was this mine? Or rebound shadow? The real twist hit November. Leaves rotting under Tacoma's relentless gray. Anonymous envelope. No postmark. Photos from the alley. Time-stamped my suicide night. Not cops, grainy. Angled wrong. Inside note. Typed. Knew too much? We finish what they started.
They?
Dads came in contact. Loose end I'd missed. Heart jackhammered. Rebirth hadn't erased threats. Just reset the board. I called Jax. Pack heat. It's not over. Stakeout followed. Paranoid prowl of Seattle's underbelly. Docks. Bars. Shadows where money laundered dirty. Controversial? We went dark ops. Tails. Bugs. My .38 whispering promises. Jax's ranger skills meshed seamless. But tension frayed us. This vigilante shit, it's not justice, he argued one night. Post-adrenaline crash in a safe house motel. It's the cycle. Cycle ends when the bad guys do, I countered. America's myth, lone wolves toppling empires. Reality, Bullets don't discriminate. Climax brewed at the old VFW hall. Irony's encore. Tip led us there. Halloween Eve. Fog cloaking the lot like camouflage. Inside, came in suit. 2 goons. Meeting a contact. Emily?
No, Mom.
Gaunt from rehab. Handing over a flash drive. For Dad's appeal, she murmured. Voice taped by our bug. Betrayal's Hydra. She'd played double agent. Feeding scraps to feds while pocketing payoffs. We burst in, Jack's covering door. Me on point. Federal assets. Hands up. Bluff. But it stuck. Goons drew. Shots cracked. Plaster dusting like fallout. I came and bolted. I pursued. Tackling him in the alley, same rain-slicked concrete. He twisted. Knife flashing, old school. No gun. We grappled. My training surging. Elbow to throat. Knee to gut. Jax dragged him off. Cuffs improvised from zip ties. Mom? Curled sobbing by the bar. I had to. For the family.
Family.
That word. Weaponized. Dawn broke as sirens wailed. Feds arriving for real. Our tip panned out. Cayman extradited. Mom charged accessory. Emily's deal voided. Sentence doubled. Jax and I walked out. Bruised but breathing. The hall's neon sign flickering, heroes welcome like a lie. Epilogue settled uneasy. December 2025. Snow dusting Tacoma's hills. Jax and I wed quiet courthouse. 2 witnesses. Rings exchanged over bad coffee. No drama. Just vows. In all the lives. I started. Trailing off. He squeezed my hand. This one's ours. But rebirth whispered doubts. Was it happy ever after? Or by tragic pause? Dad rotted in Supermax. Emily in women's pen. Mom community service scrubbing her sins.
Me?
Startup launched. Vet-owned security firm. Training women in self-defense. Jax joined. His drawl charming clients. Yet nights. I wake gasping. Alley phantom or future glitch. Controversial end. I kept the .38. Loaded. America's promise. Freedom's edge. Sharp as revenge. They mocked me once.
Now?
Salute that.